It's really timely to be thinking about my time and the meeting with Professor Munro in terms of, I suppose, the reform process that we're sort of experiencing in Queensland. To a certain extent, there's some similarities about the sorts of things that she was speaking about her experience in the UK. The thing that really struck me about what she was saying, from my perspective as part of the Family Inclusion Network in Queensland, is that she spoke about, sort of in recent times, child protection systems. The UK, like many others, and indeed in Queensland as well, have been sort of, I suppose, more focused on process-driven mechanisms within the system. Looking at measuring, I suppose, measuring outcomes rather than focusing, or that's become quite distracting, and stopping people, workers and policymakers looking at and focusing on the needs of the child. And I suppose, in terms of the Family Inclusion Network, we're all about focusing on the needs of the child, but they don't sit in isolation. They sit in the broader context of a family unit. And I think, we talk with parents regularly about their experience of the child protection system across primarily the Brisbane region where we're located. But their experiences are that when they come in contact with the tertiary system, that they feel as though they're not included, and what happens, because the focus is so centred on the child, almost in isolation of the family. There's a lack of relationship, a holistic relationship that is formed, and I guess in terms of service delivery, a lot's lost in that. The ability to look holistically at the child, centred within the family, according to what they're experiencing, doesn't occur. A lot of the parents that we work with some additional support that's put in around the family, it would negate the need for them to either enter the system or to remain in the system for a minimal amount of time. As far as the Family Inclusion Network is concerned, and what parents are saying to us, is that it really needs to be about investing in the whole family and preserving the family unit, and trying to do whatever we can to keep kids and their families out of the tertiary system. So for me, that was just a really, really strong theme that came through in Professor Munro's discussion and her meeting with us. One of the other strong themes that came through, I guess, in our meeting with Professor Munro, really from a Family Inclusion Network perspective, was when she was talking about reforming the system and what a healthy child protection system would look like. She talked about the importance of a system that is open and transparent and open to learning and adjusting the way things are done according to what they've learned. And she talked about the importance of broad stakeholder feedback, and put some questions to us. Well, how do you know? How do you know when things are working? How do you know when things are being done? How do you know when things are being done well for children, what the impact is on the family? And I guess, for the Family Inclusion Network, the last couple of years we've been really focused on generating information that will allow government to have some feedback around what parents' experiences are of their involvement in the child protection system. What Eileen Munro said really reinforces the need for parents to be included in this discourse and this feedback loop about what is working. Policies roll out, they are implemented into practice, and the practice on the ground, in our experience, is very mixed. There's some good practice happening out there, but parents are also reporting back to us that in some aspects, especially around a holistic look of the child and the family as a family unit, some of those practices could benefit from some good, sound, evidence-based feedback that parents can give. So I really applaud Eileen Munro's inclusion of incorporating all stakeholders and really focusing on, well, how can you act in the best interests of the child if you don't have good, credible feedback from the family and their experiences about what their experiences have been of the tertiary system. It's just all part of creating a really healthy child protection system in Queensland.